So I'm tying Homeland Security into voter identification with picture and proof of citizenship in order to vote. And those two items are the most important thing having to do with Homeland Security. So it should be part of the Homeland Security bill. And I'm requesting that the Republican senators do that immediately. You don't have to take a fast vote. Don't worry about Easter going home. In fact, make this one for Jesus, okay? Make this one for Jesus. That's what I tell him.
So let's see. Willie, can you write these down? Jesus said, feed the poor.
That's right.
Clothe the naked. Yes. Visit those in prisons. Be merciful. Show mercy. Yeah, exactly. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
Love God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. And pass a voter ID act that actually kicks millions and millions of people off the voter roll.
It's right there in the Gospels.
I'm trying to figure out where that one is.
Also, don't worry about Easter, he said.
Don't worry about
There's
Easter.
a statement.
The most religious of Christian holidays.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Stay here and vote for my
Don't worry
faith.
about it. That must have been in the part of 2 Corinthians that I didn't read. Yeah. Was it 2 Chronicles?
Don't worry
Let's
about
bring
Easter.
in the CEO and co-founder of Axios, Jim Vandehei, and Politics Bureau Chief and Senior Political Columnist at Politico, Jonathan Martin. The second episode of his new YouTube and podcast series, On the Road with Jonathan Martin, will be out later today. We'll get to that in a moment. I do want to know why it's not On the Road with J Mart. Sort of obvious.
Kind of. Come on, dude. What's up?
We're talking to the production folks about that. Now, there's some copyright issues there. We're trying to work through with the patent office, but I think we'll be okay, though.
I think it'll be okay. Nobody will confuse J Mart and K Mart.
We're putting our best folks on it. We're putting our best people on it, Joe.
Yeah.
You got to do it. So guys, we were just sort of laughing, sort of dark humor, but just sort of laughing at the fact that Republicans somehow managed to take 2 of the most unpopular things in America right now, not paying TSA agents and having crowded airports, and ICE agents beating up people.
Who are getting paid.
ICE agents who are getting paid.
Yeah.
And Jim Vandehei clumping them all together, horrifying Republican senators who are thinking, yikes, we've actually got to run for office this fall. What do you think is going to happen there?
I mean, I think they'll get a deal for the reason that you're talking about. You see plane crashes on one screen. You see these long lines, 3-4 hour waits to get through TSA at other airports. You now see ICE agents at least a few different airports. You see warnings about the Iranians wanting to have sleeper cells here and have attacks in our homeland. And it doesn't take a political wizard to figure out you probably should be funding the Department of Homeland Security. You should probably figure out a way out of this jam. I mean, Republicans are a little ticked off behind the scenes because I think the president's making it a lot harder by making his demands on the SAFE Act, saying do it for Jesus in terms of staying in over Easter to get legislation done that he wants in place because he thinks it'll help them and probably would in the midterm elections. But, man, you look at the polls, you look at public anger, you look at public unease, and Republicans know that the Senate, which used to look really safe for them if you just look at the seats that are in play, suddenly looks like it could be in danger, and it looks worse by the week. It doesn't get better, and so this is a case where I think Republicans in the Senate have a different incentive than the president himself.
Right, and J Mart, you look at the chaos at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, and whoever is running against John Ossoff is like praying to Jesus because things couldn't be worse right now. For Republicans, they were behind the 8 ball before, but now you have chaos in airports. You've got ICE so unpopular that you've got the White House telling Republicans stop saying mass deportations months after a lot of senators were saying to the White House, stop saying mass deportations. And again, all of this just kind of clumping together. It's bad news for Republican candidates.
Well, and the challengers to John Ossoff are not praying for the SAVE Act as their deliverance. I think it's safe to say. I mean, well, first of all, it's incredible that he has been convinced that this is somehow a panacea to save the midterms. But everybody knows the macro climate is forbidding for the Republican Party. And a voter ID bill, which is probably never going to pass the Senate anyways, is not some cure-all. But he's been convinced of that. And it's driving the Senate Republicans crazy behind the scenes because they know this is not going to fix everything in the midterms. They also know it's almost certainly not going to happen. But he's a dog with a bone, and they can't get it off him. Joe, to your point about sending the ICE agents to the airport, what's amazing about that is I think there were potentially some Democrats who were going to cave last weekend and try to find some kind of a way out because they're hearing from their voters, too, about the TSA lines at the airports. And there was an urgency to get something done. But if you're a Democrat, and you're going to say that now there's ICE agents at the airport? Why would you cave now? Just let the Republicans fix it, right? Because they're compounding their own political problems. So it also gives Democrats an opportunity to not do what they typically do, which is cave.
And there is legislation on the table to pay the TSA agents separately. Just get them paid, and then let's worry about the other stuff. Republicans won't take that
and Republicans have killed it 10 times.
Yes, and they're complaining about it. John Kennedy and others are saying, let's just pay the TSA agents, deal with the other stuff later. J. Mart, as we mentioned, the second episode of your YouTube and podcast out today. Series features sit-downs with newsmakers, some of the best restaurants in their home states.
Very important.
Outstanding there. In the new episode, you speak with Democratic Governor of California, Gavin Newsom. You talk to about why he is taking such a vocal approach to fighting President Trump in public. Let's listen.
Right now, we have to put a mirror up to the absurdity of the President of the United States dressing up as the Pope, cosplaying as Superman, putting his face on the side of Mount Rushmore, attacking and belittling the communities and minorities. I don't wake up every day to try to find, a crowbar to put in the spokes of his wheel. I don't. That said, I'm going to stand my ground. We're going to have the backs of our diverse communities, and we're going to fight back. And fight fire with fire. And I know two wrongs don't make a right, but with all due respect, we'll lose this country as we try to win that argument. And Democrats are constantly trying to be right. The other side is ruthless. And with respect, my party needs to be more ruthless about winning.
J. Mart, first things first, where are you eating? What did you have?
We were at Sam's Grill, legendary watering hole in San Francisco. Been around since the 1870s. Famous for its Dungeness crab, petrel sole, just classic Pacific seafood. We had some crab cakes. And guys, here's the lead. I won't bury it. About a half an hour in, I got Governor Newsom to finally take a couple of bites. This is breaking news. This is like siren emoji news. The first episode, Governor Huckabee Sanders did not eat. I said, forget that. We're going to eat. I dove in immediately, and I'm getting the crab cakes. I'm trying the shrimp. We had oysters on a half shell. We had some shrimp.
Surprise.
And finally, Governor Newsom couldn't help himself. He was overcome with temptation, and we had a great seafood salad. He spears the fork, gets some of the avocado on the seafood salad because he's an avocado guy. Here's why. When he was the lieutenant governor, suffering through 8 long years under Jerry Brown in Sacramento, he did an Al Haig-like seizure of power one day, Joe, and Brown was out of the state. As acting governor, he made avocado the state fruit of California. So he's got a soft spot for the avocado generally. So he dove in there and grabbed some. That clip, though, guys, real fast. That clip that you were playing there, I was kind of pressing him on some of these tweets he does. And is some of this stuff a little too far, a little bit small, actually, for a big state governor who may want to run for president? And he got a little defensive there, pushing back. But you saw his criticism of his own party. And you hear this a lot from Democrats, that we're always trying to be right. It's an echo of the Bill Clinton line, which is people prefer strong and wrong over weak and right. And I think Newsom's internalized that. And he said, damn it, we can't keep trying to be right. Do the right thing. Say the right thing. We got to fight fire with fire and be ruthless like them. It was fascinating, I thought.
J. Mart, I think you're onto something here.
He likes the avocado.
It might be like a can't turn away situation. Politico's Jonathan Martin. Thank you.
J. Mart.
And guys, real fast, I also asked him, I said, Governor, how could somebody grow up in the 1970s, man, in San Francisco and never smoke weed? And you got to tune in to get the answer to that one. But I thought it was a fascinating exchange there, too, because, you come of age in like Marin County and SF in like 1978. How do you avoid the stuff? But he somehow found a way.
Did he jump straight to acid? What happened?
I mean, like You have
He
to
had
watch
like
to
a
find
scared
out.
straight experience because one of his foster brothers used some ancient pipe they had in the house to toke up.
Yeah.
I think it scared Newsom. I did
Yeah.
get him to confess, Joe, that when he was visiting the Grand Canyon in the later years that he did toke. But I said, nothing today, like no edibles or anything. And he said, no. He said, I legalized the stuff, but I'm a beer and wine guy. So Gavin
I have to
Gavin
see
Newsom.
this.
Go to the Grand Canyon.
I'm so
You can do
confused.
coke? I mean, I've never done coke
Okay.
No,
before.
toke.
The
toke,
new
I think he
episode.
said. Toke.
Or coke.
Toke.
Toke.
Joe.
We almost had
Oh,
we almost had a real
I just have to watch.
distinction.
Scare straight experience. Okay, Jay Mart, you definitely are on to
Okay,
something.
he
The
took
new
a
episode
toke.
of On the Road with Jonathan Martin.
That was close one.
That was
Really
close,
should be
guys.
on the road with
And
Jay
it's
Mart.
campaign.
Flying off the cliff.
I think you ought to talk to your
almost ended
folks
it.
there.
One
That's
time
a
over
health
the
by the-
line, sweet
It's
Jesus.
going
That's
to
a
be out
healthy
later
expense
today.
account there. That's
on
nice.
YouTube.
He's figured it
I
out.
like
And
it.
wherever
Seafood Tower, bring it all in.
you get
I'm
your
telling you,
podcast.
it's
Yes.
kind of like Zeppelin in 71. No
Jim.